Hello children, how are you all? I think you all are fine. Today I am going to start from your grade 7 geography book. Can you all remember we did first and second lesson of your geography book? Today we have to do the third lesson of your geography book, that's the Landscape of Sri Lanka. Okay? Before entering into the new lesson, shall we go to the past and memorize the things we did? Okay? We discussed about the location of our country. Especially we discussed about the relative location of our country too. And it is in between of the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. Okay? But from this lesson, you will be able to learn rather than that. Especially, you will be able to learn about the zones and the diversity of our country. Okay? Let's go to the lesson. So I'm going to start from the third lesson of your geography book, that is the Landscape of Sri Lanka. Okay, Putala? Can you all remember we did our first and second lesson and we discussed randomly about the landscape of Sri Lanka. But from this lesson, we are going to learn many more things about the landscape of Sri Lanka. Okay, now I'm going to go for the lesson and then I will going to explain the lesson. Sri Lanka is an island located in the Indian Ocean with a land area about 65,610 kilometers. Within this land area, diverse landscape can be identified. They are different from each other and consist of various physical and human features. Putala, can you all remember? We discussed about the location of Sri Lanka. It is in between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn and it is in the Indian Ocean. It's an island. We discussed many more things about the location of our country. Here we are going to learn about the land area of our country, that is 6,500 and 610 kilometers. This is very, very important. Underline this. Okay. Now here within this land area, we can find diverse landscape. So they are different from each other and consist of various physical and human features. Okay, this is very important because it consists of various physical and human features. Okay, now we are going to learn about what are the various physical and human features in our country. Okay, Putala, now you can see here there's a map. Okay, and we are going to learn many more things from this map also. Now you can see here landscape in the Jaffna Peninsula and the surrounding islands. Okay, now you know this is Jaffna Peninsula. Okay, and here landscape in the coastal region. Now you can see here there's a seaside. Okay, and here and some people they are engaging fisheries and all. And you can see here there's a stupa and here there are also some people they are here you can see here there are palmara trees and all. And Nallur Kovil also you can see. Not only that, Jaffna grapes also. Okay, and here also around our country, not only that, around the country you can see here coastal belt around the country. Okay, so here landscape in the dry zone. Now you can see here the dry zone also here. Sigiri and all you can see here. And some people most of the people in the dry zone they are more paying attention for the farming and animal husbandry. Now you can see here and here there's in Sinhala there we can see it's a Vibis Atuva and here you can see here there's a huge farming area. Okay, paddy fields and all you can see. Okay, and here landscape in hilly region. Okay, now you can see here there each and every places there can be seen a diversity difference between each and every area. Okay, and here landscape in the wet zone. Now here wet zone also you can see here some waterfalls and there are variety of animals also can be seen and the variety of especially the plantations also can be seen, especially we can see tea plantations and all we can see. Okay, now here each and every place is differ from the other, but you can see here around the country we can see a coastal belt around the country because our country is an island. Okay, now here the main objective of this chapter is to study the regional landscape of the areas of hill country. the dry zone, the wet zone, Jaffna Peninsula and the islands, and the coastal belt, including their unique features. Okay, the main objective, the main purpose of this chapter. Okay, from this lesson we are going to learn about the regional landscape of the areas. Hill country, the dry zone, the wet zone, Jaffna Peninsula, and the islands and the coastal belt. Okay, so from this lesson we are going to learn about the landscape of our country. Okay, now here they mention the map 3.1, the diversity of the regional landscape of Sri Lanka. Diversity means the differences. Here when you observe in this map, you can see here each and every area shows a diversity because their main occupation and agriculture, and there can be seen a diversity. Landscape of the hilly region in the islands located 300 meters above the mean sea level. Okay, we are calling hilly region because why? The lands located 300 meters above the mean sea level. A hilly country landscape can be found. Such landscapes are mainly found in both the central hills and Sabaragamu hills of Sri Lanka. When compared to the other landscape, a complex physical landscape can be identified in these regions. Okay, now we are going to learn about the physical landscape of hilly region. Now this is very important. They will ask this point in your MCQ paper. So you have to underline this and keep this point in your mind. Okay, now here mainly found in both in the central hills and Sabaragamu hills of Sri Lanka. Okay, so hilly region consists of central hills and the Sabaragamu hills. This one also very important. Okay, so here we can see a complex physical landscape from these regions. Okay, now here Candy Plater, Wellimada, Hatton, Horton Plater, Mahawalatenna, Koslanda. Now here Plater. Okay, and the other one is Knuckles, Namanukula, Lunugala, Haputale, Ragala, Kirigalputtu, Thotupola, Piduru Talagala, Dolasbagi, Adams Peak. Now here mountain ranges. And the next one is, now here if we go to gaps, we can see here Matale Balakaduwa, Matale Pass, Candy Peradini, Gampola, Galagedara, Ginigathena, Hatton, Nuvarelia, Badulla, Wellimada, Bandaravela, Ella, Haputale, Balangud. Okay, and the other one is here we can see falls, waterfalls. Okay, Ratnalla, Kurundoya Falls, Dumanda Falls, Rambada Falls, Abreen Falls, Devon Falls, Lakshapana Falls, Ilmi Falls, Manavela Falls, Ravana Falls. And here you can see here Baker's Falls and all. Now you can see here there are many falls. Okay, now here hill country landscape of Sri Lanka. We can see each and everything while we are doing our lesson. Okay, now here you just go through the picture and you just think about the landscapes and the diversity. Each and every area is showing a diversity. Okay, so you just observe this map. Okay, now here a landscape providing physical and mental relaxation. Now here Putala, you can find as an activity. Now here observe figure 3.2 and complete the following table. Mountain ranges, waterfalls, plates. Okay, now here mountain ranges and plateaus, rivers flowing through valleys, waterfalls and gaps or passes are the main physical features. Consist of a vegetation cover which is compatible with relief and climate. The landscape linked to a tea cultivation is unique to the hill country because you know if someone is living in hill country or if you been to hill country, so you can see there are a lot of tea estates can be seen in the hill country. Tea factories also, large group of workers, houses and bungalows, developed road systems as well as the cultural inheritance of the state workers are some of the important features. Okay, if you don't have about this idea, you can just search from the internet. So you can see here there are a lot of tea cultivation can be seen from the hill country. The network of roads that runs with many bends as a result of the relief pattern and houses built on the slopes are specific to the landscape of the hill country. Okay, now here network of roads also, because in our past Sri Lanka especially Portuguese and all, they mostly paid the attention to develop these cultivations, especially tea cultivations. Okay, so they improved, that means their network of roads runs with many bends because of the thing they transport those tea leaves and all to area, to one place to another. So that means they develop lot of roads. Okay, and here and the relief pattern and houses built on the slopes are specific to the landscape of the hill country. Vegetable, fruit and flower cultivation done on a commercial basis, and livestock farms associated with grasslands are found. Okay, and you can see here a lot of vegetable cultivations also can be seen in hill country. Fruit and flower cultivation done on a commercial basis. Okay, and livestock farms associated with grasslands are found. You just visit these areas after this COVID pandemic situation, so you can have a nice idea about the hilly region. Both local and foreign tourists like to visit the hill country. Hence, therefore, tourist industry and features connected to it such as hotels, tourist bungalows and land areas allocated for recreational activities, including sports activities, are prominent features of this landscape. Okay, so here we can, if we visit to hilly region, hill country, so you can see here tourist industry and the features are connected it such as hotels and all, because so tourist bungalows and the land areas allocated for recreational activities. Okay, and not only that, including sports activities are prominent features on this landscape. Now you have to keep these things in your mind. Okay, I'm going to briefly explain the lesson further, because these are the physical landscape of Sri Lanka. So there are especially mountain ranges and plateaus, rivers flowing through valleys, waterfalls and gaps or passes are the main physical features in hill country. Okay, because hill country means you just image a hill, hilly areas. Now here we are in the hilly area. Okay, so this area is not like the coastal belt and the other areas in the country, because we can find hill country, that means hilly sides, especially mountains and all we can find. Okay, so the main thing is we can see waterfalls, gaps, passes among the mountains and all. So that's what we are calling hill country. Okay, and the other one is it's very important for, it's a good place for tea cultivations and all. We can find tea factories, large group of workers and all. Yeah, there are bungalows, and not only that, that hilly region grab the attention from the tourists because they are beauty of the hill country and all. Okay, and you can see the vegetable and the fruit cultivation done on a commercial basis, and the livestock farms associated with grasslands also. Okay, and here now we know about what is the hill country. As an activity, there's an activity name significant physical features of the hill country. Now you know, list out human activities found in the regions with a hilly landscape. Okay, now you know what are the human activities found in the regions. Okay, draw a landscape of hill country. Okay, that's very important. I will show you. Explain how the physical features have influenced the human landscape of the hill country. Now here, when you are learning about these things, you have to pay attention with the map, with the Sri Lankan map. You try to understand what is the area which consists for hill country and all. Okay, and what is the area which consists of the coastal belt, and there are various type of features we can see. So you have to always use a map to understand these things, and you have to keep these places in your mind. Okay, now we are on a map. Central hills of Sri Lanka. Mark and name 2 mountain ranges, plateaus, waterfalls and gaps. Okay, now here landscape of the dry zone. This region could be introduced as the area where the Sri Lankan civilization began. Okay, now we came to the dry zone. You just think about the dry zone, not like the hill country, because dry means we can feel high temperature, evaporation is very high. Not like the hill country, there won't be any cool climate in the dry zone. Maybe we can see some specific plants in dry zone. So you just close your eyes and go to dry zone, Putala. Okay, so I'm going to explain this further in the lesson. So, and the other one is you have to keep these things in your mind, because Sri Lanka, we are believing our Sri Lankan civilization started from this dry zone. This is very important point. Mainly, the dry zone landscape can be seen in north, north central, east and southeast regions of the country. These are the very important points. You have to underline these things. They will jumble in the MCQ paper and they will ask. The base of the landscape of dry zone is set on the factors like severe drought, high temperature, uncertain and low rainfall and high evaporation. As I told you already, dry zone means no chill climate like the hill country. Trees also just like dried leaf can be seen. Okay, because uncertain and low rainfall and the high evaporation. And you just go through the soil, you just observe the soil in dry zone. So you can see here that soil also dried. A human landscape that is compatible to dry zone environment too can be seen in this landscape. Okay, plains and residual hills scattered about, rivers that run dry during a particular period of the year. Trees with tall trunks and hard hardwood are the well-known features of the physical landscape of the dry zone. Now here, Putal, plains and residual hills scattered about, rivers that run dry a particular period of the year. When you are watching the television and all for a particular period of the year, we can imagine this, because the most of the people who are living in the dry zone, usually they are facing these type of things, because usually they are facing for droughts and all. So trees with tall trunks and hardwood also. So those are the well-known features of the physical landscape of the dry zone. Grass, shrubs with thorny bushes. Okay, just like pathok and all. So grass, shrubs, okay, so that grow in arid climatic that prevails at Mannar and Puttalam in the northwestern region and Hambantota area in the southeastern region of Sri Lanka too are specific features of this landscape. Okay, that means in each and every place is differ from the other, as I told you already. And there we can see the trees and all, it shows variety features to each and every area. If you observe the trees and the all in hilly area, hilly region, so and if we compare with the dry zone also, we can see huge differences between them. Okay, because of the leaves, shape of the leaves and the trunk also. Okay, so each and everything is differ from the other. Okay, so grass, shrubs with thorny bushes are the specific features in the dry zone. Not only that, we can see hardwood, tall trunks and hardwood also. Okay, here Mannar, Puttalam in the northwestern region and the Hambantota area in the southeastern region of Sri Lanka too are specific features of this landscape. Very important, underline these things. Sigiriya, Dambulla, Rittigala, Katharagam, etc. are several residual hills located in this region. According to the location and shape, Sigiri has been a fortress since the ancient times. Okay, we know about Sigiriya. Dambulla, Rittigala, Katharagam. So these are the residual hills. There are many more residual hills around the country. Okay, so here, according to the location and the shape, Sigiriya has been a fortress since the ancient times. All those are in dry zone. The tanks built by blocking the rivers that flow through the small ridges are also prominent in this landscape. Most of them are fed by rainwater and water of river Mahavali. A large land area of the dry zone is utilized for paddy cultivation and irrigation. Rice mills and industries producing rice flour products have been established associated with the paddy cultivation. Okay, now here, do you know about the irrigation systems in dry zone? Most of the ancient kings paid their attention to making rivers and the irrigation system. We are calling this as irrigation system. Okay, especially the kings ruled in Anuradhapura, Polonnaruira. Okay, so they made tanks blocking the rivers that flow through the small ridges. Okay, so that is very prominent in this landscape. So most of them are fed by rainwater and water of river Mahavali. Okay, so a land area of the dry zone is utilized for paddy cultivation because that's a dry zone. So people, they are getting light shower of rain. They won't get like heavy rains like the other areas in the country. So they are getting light shower. So they wanted to collect water for their paddy cultivations. So they made rivers and all to collect water for the paddy cultivation and all under the irrigation. So rice mills and industries producing rice flour products have been established associated with the paddy cultivation. Okay, now here you just think about the paddy cultivation of Sri Lanka. Most of the farmers are living in the dry zone. You just keep these things in your mind. Most of the farmers are living there. Planned farming settlements built with all the facilities for the people who were settled in farming colonies to cultivate the dry lands and paddy lands using the water of river Mahavali are seen in the landscape of the dry zone. Okay, and the other one is planned farming settlements built with all the facilities for the people who were settled in farming colonies to cultivate dry lands and paddy lands using the water of river Mahavali. So the main source of the country is Mahavali river. Okay, and the other one is Chenna cultivation. This is very specific feature in the dry zone. So the Chenna cultivation based on the rainwater, that is based on the rainwater, is also a main feature of this zone. That's a main feature. Chenna with Danduwatta. Okay, Danduwatta, the meaning of that fence made of sticks. Small hut and lands with crop cultivated on rainwater is gradually changing feature in this landscape of the dry zone. Okay, Putala, now I am going to go for the summary of this dry zone. Now you just keep these things in your mind. Dry zone, you just close your eyes and go to the dry zone. Now we are in dry zone. You feel hot temperature when you are in dry zone, high evaporation. So in high evaporation means you feel very thirsty. You have to take lot of water, and you can see dried soil, dried earth, dried trees with dried leaves and all. And here you can see grasses, shrubs with thorny bushes, and here tall trunks with hard heartwood. Okay, now here you can see Sigiriya, Dambulla, Rittigarala, Kataragama also. All those areas are in dry zone. Okay, and okay, now you think about the irrigation system of Sri Lanka. Now you can remember the ancient kings who ruled in our country. Most of the kings paid their attention for improving the irrigation system in dry zone because they got light shower. They did not get heavy rainfalls like the other places in the country. Okay, so ancient kings made tanks by blocking the rivers and flow through the small ridges. So these are the prominent in this landscape. Okay, so the rainwater and the water of Mahavalley, most of them are fed by the rainwater and the water of Mahavalley. Okay, and here the other one is most of the people, they paid attention for the farming and animal husbandry. Okay, now you can see here farming colonies in dry zone. Okay, and the other one is, now you can see here Chena cultivation. Okay, we are calling it as Chena with Danduvat, a fence made of sticks. Okay, so those are crop cultivated on rainwater. Okay, so now you are still in dry zone and open your eyes. Okay, now you can see here, there's the map of Sri Lanka. Now I'm going to show this map. Okay, look carefully. Here Mana, Vaunia, Trincomalee, Mahakandurava tank, Nachaduwa, Kalaoya, Dadruoya, Ranjana Weber, and here Kala Weber. I can't tell all the places. You just go through and you just take these places in mind because they will ask. So these are the landscape of dry zone of Sri Lanka. You just try to keep these places in your mind. Surely they will ask in your term test paper to mark these places. And the other one is pay your attention for these markings. Because the thing is, now you can see here they have colored with blue, and you can see here some just like dots and all here. Some, that means just like some, they have colored some area just like tanks and all. Here when we are marking the waterfalls and which is the place related for water system and all, so usually you have to use a light color pencil because that's the procedure. When you are marking these places, you have to use blue color or light blue color pencil. That's what we can see here. And the other one here, we are still talking about the dry zone in the country. Okay, the irrigation system, and when we are marking the places, so we have to pay our attention. So because the thing is, we can't draw outside to the country because we are talking about the irrigation system in the country. So all these places are coming to the country, bound with the country. So you have to draw the lines and all with the light blue color pencil. And here when we are marking the places which are related to water, especially the tanks and all, okay, we have to mark with it a light color blue pencil. Okay. These distinctive features of the ancient hydraulic civilization of Sri Lanka is the human imprint of the present landscape of the dry zone. Okay, now here, sanctuaries like Yala, Vilpattu, Kumana and forest reserves like Somavati, Maduru Oya and Wasgamuwa are specific features in the landscape of the dry zone. Location of various religious centers which are frequently visited by people is also a significant features of this landscape. Sacred Sri Mahabodhi and stupas at Anuradhapura, Madu Church at Mana, Koneshwaram Hindu temple at Trincomalee, Kirivehera and Skanda Kumara Devala at Katharagama. I think you know about this Devala. Katharagama and mosque in the eastern region could be shown as examples. And the other one is, I forgot to tell you, Putala. Now here, you just keep these things in your mind. When you are marking the dry zone of the country, you have to keep your pencil here and you just draw a picture in your mind here. Now here, it consists dry zone of Sri Lanka. Okay. And the other one is, there's an activity, describe physical and human features of the landscape of the dry zone separately. Now you know to describe the physical and human features of the landscape of the dry zone separately. What is the solution adopted by the people in the dry zone to overcome the scarcity of water? We discussed this. Mark and name the following on an outline map of Sri Lanka. Anuradhapura Madhuchurch, Katharagama, Sigiriya, Vilpattu Sanctuary, Somavati Forest Reserve and 5 main tanks in the dry zone. Don't forget this point, because when you are drawing tanks and which is related for water, you have to use this type of pattern with the light blue color instead, or else blue color you have to use. And here the last point of our lesson of today, that is the landscape of the wet zone. So finally, after this lesson, I will give you a nice video clip about the each and every area now here, but now I am not going to give you a video. So landscape of the wet zone. A landscape of wet zone can be seen in southwestern, western and eastern slopes of the central hills of Sri Lanka. Now here, now you came from the dry zone. First you were in hilly region, then you were in dry zone, now you are in wet zone. Okay, so landscape of wet zone can be seen in southwestern, western and eastern slopes of the central hills of Sri Lanka. Underline this thing. The dynamism created by the diurnal mobility of the people, automobile and service activities is the specific feature of this region. Okay, let's go for the lesson. Okay, now you can see here, there's a Sri Lankan map. You can see here Kandy, Daduroya, Mahaoya, Gampaha, here Kalani River, Asi Javadanapura Kotte, Wallaby River and many more systems, many more things you can see. The landscape of wet zone of Sri Lanka. Now you can see here, we can see a diversity. A physical landscape consisting of flat lands, ridges, rivers flowing throughout the year, marshy lands, rich vegetation cover, and the specific biodiversity are the significant features of this landscape of wet zone. Okay, we talk about hilly region and then dry zone and wet zone. Okay, not like the dry zone, we feel some cool when we are in wet zone. Okay, now here flat lands can be seen, ridges can be seen, rivers flowing throughout the year, marshy lands, rich vegetation cover or green environment we can see. And so those are called specific biodiversity, are the significant features of the landscape of wet zone. Physical landscape is subject to constant changes due to frequent flooding and earth slips caused by heavy rains. For this area, usually it gets heavy rains. So, and the other one is physical landscape is subject to constant changes due to frequent flooding also can be seen. And the earth slips, these are the very frequent things. Flood plains form along the river valleys due to the constant flooding have been converted into rich farmlands. The Kalani River Valley is mainly utilized for growing vegetables under the Koratu method. Okay, most of the people who are living around the Kalani River, So they are facing this problem because they are facing many more flooding conditions throughout the year. Okay, so the other one is, so flooding have been converted into rich farmlands. As we take as the Kalani River Valley is the main utilized, okay, for growing vegetables under the Koratu method. This is very, very important. When we were in dry zone, we discussed about the Danduwatta and all. And here now we are in wet zone. We can see Koratu method. The human landscape of this zone, where high population is living to possess complex features. A diversity of agricultural land use can be seen in the wet zone as coconut cultivation on coastal region, paddy cultivation in river valleys, and rubber and tea plantation on the mountain slopes, etc. Now here also we can see here tea plantation also. A diversity of agriculture, differences, variety of agricultural land use can be seen in the wet zone. Coconut cultivation can be seen on the coastal region. Paddy cultivation in river valleys. Rubber and tea plantation on the mountain slopes. Cities like Colombo, towns like Gampaha, Mathura, Galle, Negombo, Kandy and Kalutara that are important as urban industrial and service centers can be identified as a special feature of this landscape. Population migrated to the main towns in search of jobs due to the establishments of free trade zones like Katunayaka, Koggala and Biyagama, and industrial colonies associated with the towns like Ratmalana, Ekala have been accumulated in the wet zone. Surely they will ask these things for your term test paper. So you have to keep these things in mind. In the wet zone, people are migrated to main towns in searching jobs. Okay, there are trade zones can be seen, Katunayaka, Koggala, Biyagama, and here there are industrial colonies associated with towns like Ratmalana, Ekala. Okay, those are in wet zone. And the other one is the complexity of the landscape of wet zone is emphasized by the hospitals, police station, banks, courts, shopping complexes as well as by skyscrapers. That much highest buildings can be seen in the wet zone. This zone can be identified as a region with well-developed infrastructure to facilitate human needs. A developed transportation network consisting of well-developed road systems, expressways, overhead bridges, and railway lines in the landscape of wet zone. So you just visit to these areas and you can just imagine in your mind. First, developing planned towns and the landscape mixing urban and rural features too could be seen here. This is very, very important. There's a landscape mixing urban and rural features. The dynamism of the landscape is depicted by high population that come to the towns daily to avail these services available, and also by the number of vehicles that come to these towns. The capital of Sri Lanka, Sri Jayawardenepura, and the commercial capital Colombo are located in the wet zone. Okay, now here I am going to show this again. Now here wet zone is here. Okay, now you have to, here we mark here dry zone, and here we can say wet zone. Okay, and these areas consist Jayawardenepura Kotte, commercial capital Colombo are located in the wet zone. Existence of regions which were subject to mass movement due to clay mining, unlimited gem mine, deforestation, development activities that damage the environment is also a special feature. Due to this, the problems like earth slips, drying of underground water springs, sinking of buildings, breeding of mosquitoes, and domestic flies have emerged. Trace on outline map of Sri Lanka. There's an activity. Draw the wet zone following the teacher's instructions. Mark and name the followings using an atlas of Sri Lanka: Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara, Galle, Matara and Kandy. The investment promotion zones of Katunayaka, Koggala and Begama. State 6 main features that can be found in the landscape of the wet zone. Write 3 factors that create a live and dynamic landscape in the wet zone. Using drawings or pictures, display the landscape of the wet zone. Okay, I came to the last point of our lesson, and next day I hope to come with the landscape associated with Jaffna Peninsula and surrounding islands. Before I'm going to finish the lesson, you have to just close your eyes and keep these things in your mind. Okay, today we discussed about the hilly region, dry zone, and now we are the final part of the lesson. We are in the wet zone, and here when we are in wet zone, we know people, they are immersed to towns and knolls, especially the wet zone. Sri Jayawardhanapura Kotte, the capital of Sri Lanka, Jayawardhanapura Kotte, and the commercial capital Colombo are located in the wet zone. Not only that, the physical landscape consists of flatlands. We can see here flatlands, ridges, rivers flowing throughout the year, marshy lands also, rich vegetation cover. So these are the specific diversity for the wet zone. Okay, flooding can be seen throughout the year, especially if we take Kalani Valley River. They are using, so it finally, the flooding have been converted into rich farmlands. So other one is the people most who are living in the Kalani Valley River, they are using Koratu method. Okay, and we can see here high population because of the people poses to complex features. Okay, and not only that, diversity of agricultural land also we can see in the wet zone. Those are the coconut cultivation on coastal region, paddy cultivation in river valleys, rubber and tea plantation on the mountain slopes. Okay, now you can see here cities like Colombo and the towns like Gampaha, Matara, Galle, Negombo, Kandy, Kalutara are the important urban industrial and service centers in wet zone. Okay, there are a lot of population. People are destroying the beauty, and especially unlimited gem mining, deforestation, clay mining, and they are making skyscrapers and all, and people are vanishing the beauty, and that's not only breeding of mosquitoes can be seen in these areas. So because of the thing is, there are a lot of people, and because of the complexity, so today we discussed about the hill country, and then we went to dry zone, and we finally went to wet zone. Next day, I hope to come with the landscape associated with Jaffna Peninsula and surrounding islands. See you soon.